Ever wonder if the oil you're pouring into your Honda is actually the right choice? Or maybe you've been told all oils are basically the same and it doesn't really matter? Wrong. The truth is, using the wrong oil viscosity can quietly damage your engine, waste fuel, and cost you thousands in repairs down the road. We put 3 popular oil weights to the test: 0W-20, 5W-30, and 5W-40, all in the same Honda engine. Same conditions, same driving, same miles. And the results? One of them was a clear winner, while another nearly destroyed engine components in just 10,000 miles. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which oil your Honda needs and why using the wrong one could be the biggest mistake you make this year. Let's get started. The truth about oil viscosity. Before we dive into the test results, let's break down what those numbers actually mean. You've seen them on every oil bottle: 0W-20, 5W-30, 10W-40. But what do they tell you? Here's the deal. The first number, the one with the W, stands for winter viscosity. It shows how thick or thin the oil is when it's cold. The lower the number, the thinner the oil flows in freezing temps. That's why 0W oils flow better on cold starts than 5W or 10W. The second number? That's the oil's viscosity at operating temperature, around 212 degrees Fahrenheit. A 20 weight oil is thinner when hot compared to a 30 or 40 weight. Thicker oils protect better under extreme heat and pressure, but thinner oils improve fuel economy and reduce friction. Now here's where it gets interesting. Honda engines, especially modern ones like the 1.5T, 2.0T, and K-series motors, are built with tight tolerances. We're talking about clearances measured in thousandths of an inch. These engines were designed with specific oil weights in mind, and straying too far from the manual can cause real problems. Use oil that's too thick. Your engine works harder to pump it, burns more fuel, and may not get proper oil flow to critical parts during cold starts. Use oil that's too thin? You lose protective film strength under load, especially in hot climates or during hard driving. That means more wear on your pistons, bearings, and camshafts. So yeah, oil viscosity matters. A lot. Our test setup. Here's how we ran this experiment. We used 3 identical 2020 Honda Civic Sport models, all equipped with the 2.0-liter naturally aspirated engine. Same mileage, same maintenance history, same driving routes. Car 1 got 0W-20 full synthetic, which is Honda's factory recommendation for most modern models. Car 2 got 5W-30 full synthetic, a common step-up choice that many drivers switch to for extra protection. Car 3 got 5W-40 full synthetic, often used in high-performance or turbocharged applications. All 3 cars ran the same oil brand, Mobil 1, to eliminate variables. We changed the oil at the same interval, every 5,000 miles. And we drove each car through identical conditions: city traffic, highway cruising, and some spirited acceleration to simulate real-world use. After 10,000 miles, we sent oil samples to a lab for analysis. Then, we tore down the engines to inspect wear on critical components like the cam lobes, piston rings, and bearings. What we found was eye-opening. Test result 1. 0W-20, Honda's recommendation. Let's start with the baseline, 0W-20. This is what Honda puts in your car from the factory. It's also what's listed in your owner's manual for nearly every Civic, Accord, CR-V, and Pilot built after 2015. So how did it perform? Short answer: flawlessly. At cold start, the 0W-20 flowed instantly, even in freezing temps. Within seconds, oil pressure was stable, and every moving part had lubrication. No dry starts, no metal-on-metal grinding. During highway driving, engine temps stayed right in the sweet spot, around 195 degrees Fahrenheit to 205 degrees Fahrenheit. The oil maintained a strong protective film without thinning out too much, even after extended high-speed runs. Fuel economy? We averaged 34.2 miles per gallon combined over 10,000 miles. That's right on par with Honda's official numbers. When we pulled the oil sample, the lab results showed low metal content, minimal contamination, and excellent additive retention. In plain English, the oil was doing its job without breaking down. Now let's talk about what we saw inside the engine. When we pulled the valve cover, the cam lobes looked nearly perfect. Smooth surfaces, no scoring, no abnormal wear patterns. The piston ring showed minimal carbon buildup, and the cylinder wall still had visible crosshatch marks, a sign of healthy wear. Bottom line, 0W-20 did exactly what it was designed to do. It protected the engine, improved fuel economy, and kept everything running smooth and quiet. No surprises here. Honda knows what they're doing. Test result 2. 5W-30, the extra protection choice. Now let's talk about 5W-30. This is the oil. A lot of folks switch to once their Honda hits 100,000 miles. The thinking goes like this: my engine's older now, so I need thicker oil for better protection. Makes sense, right? Well, sort of. Here's what we found. At startup, the 5W-30 took slightly longer to circulate compared to 0W-20. Nothing crazy, just an extra second or two before oil pressure fully stabilized. In warm weather, you'd never notice, but in freezing temps, that delay matters. Cold starts are when most engine wear happens, and faster oil flow means less friction during those critical first moments. Once the engine warmed up, things evened out. The 5W-30 maintained strong oil pressure even under load. Temps stayed consistent, and there were no warning lights or unusual noises. But here's the kicker: fuel economy dropped. Over 10,000 miles, we averaged 32.8 miles per gallon, about 1.4 miles per gallon less than the 0W-20 car. That might not sound like much, but over a year, that's an extra $100 to $150 in gas, depending on prices. Why the drop? Because thicker oil creates more internal resistance. Your engine has to work harder to pump it, especially when cold. That extra effort burns more fuel. Now, what about wear? When we tore down the engine, the cam lobes and bearings looked good. No major issues. But we did notice slightly more varnish buildup on the valve cover and oil passages compared to the 0W-20 engine. Not a deal breaker, but a sign that thicker oil doesn't flow as easily through tight spaces. Here's the bottom line on 5W-30. It works, and it won't hurt your engine in most cases. But you're sacrificing fuel economy and cold start protection for marginal gains in wear resistance that a healthy Honda engine doesn't really need. If you're running a high-mileage Honda in extreme heat or towing heavy loads regularly, 5W-30 might make sense. But for daily driving, stick with 0W-20. Test result 3. 5W-40, the overkill option. Alright, here's where things got rough. 5W-40 is a thick oil, really thick. It's commonly used in European performance cars, diesel engines, and older vehicles with looser tolerances. Some Honda owners swear by it, especially those running turbocharged or heavily modified engines. But in a stock 2.0-liter Civic, it was a disaster. Let's start with cold starts. The 5W-40 struggled. Even in mild weather, it took noticeably longer to reach full oil pressure. On cold mornings, the engine sounded rough for the first 10 to 15 seconds, almost like a diesel clatter. That's metal parts running dry before the oil finally makes it through the galleries. Once warmed up, the engine ran quieter. Oil pressure was actually higher than both the 0W-20 and 5W-30 cars, which sounds good on paper. But here's the problem. Higher pressure doesn't always mean better protection. In fact, it can indicate restricted flow, and that's exactly what we saw. Fuel economy tanked. We averaged just 30.6 miles per gallon over 10,000 miles, nearly 4 miles per gallon worse than the 0W-20 car. Do the math. That's an extra $200 plus per year in fuel costs. Not worth it. But the real damage showed up during teardown. The cam lobes had visible wear marks, especially on the intake side. The piston rings showed heavier carbon deposits, a sign that oil wasn't reaching critical areas as efficiently. And the oil control rings? Clogged. That means the engine was starting to burn oil, even at just 10,000 miles on this test. The lab analysis confirmed it. Elevated levels of iron, aluminum, and chromium in the oil sample. Translation? Parts were wearing faster than they should. Why did this happen? Because 5W-40 is too thick for a modern Honda engine. It can't flow quickly enough through tight oil passages, especially the small channels that feed the variable valve timing system and piston cooling jets. Without proper flow, you get localized hot spots, increased friction, and accelerated wear. Here's the truth: unless you're running a built motor, tracking your car regularly, or living in the desert with 120 degrees Fahrenheit temps, 5W-40 has no place in your Honda. It's overkill, and it does more harm than good. If you made it this far, then consider liking this video, giving it a thumbs up, and subscribing to my channel. This helps me bring you more honest car advice. The clear winner, 0W-20. So which oil won? It's not even close. 0W-20 dominated across the board. Best cold start protection? 0W-20. Best fuel economy? 0W-20. Lowest engine wear? 0W-20. Cleanest internals? 0W-20. Here's why it works so well. Honda engineers didn't just pull 0W-20 out of a hat. They designed the entire engine around it. The oil passages, the bearing clearances, the piston cooling jets. All of it was built to work with a specific oil viscosity. When you use 0W-20, everything flows the way it's supposed to. Parts get the lubrication they need, exactly when they need it. And here's something most people don't realize. Modern synthetic oils are incredibly advanced. A quality 0W-20 synthetic can handle temperatures up to 400 degrees Fahrenheit without breaking down. That's hotter than your engine will ever run under normal driving. So the idea that you need a thicker oil for protection? It's outdated. Thicker oils made sense 30 years ago when engines had looser tolerances and oils weren't as good. But today, they're unnecessary and in many cases harmful. Now, are there exceptions? Sure, if you're driving a high-mileage Honda with 200,000 plus miles and the engine burns oil or has worn bearings, stepping up to 5W-30 might buy you some time. But that's a band-aid, not a solution. If you track your car or live in extreme heat, 5W-30 or even 0W-40 might make sense. But even then, check with a reputable tuner first. For 95% of Honda drivers, 0W-20 is the only choice that makes sense. Common myths about oil viscosity. Let's clear up some myths while we're here. Myth 1. Thicker oil is always better for older engines. Not true. If your engine has excessive wear, thicker oil might mask the symptoms temporarily, but it won't fix the underlying problem, and it'll reduce fuel economy and make cold starts harder. If your Honda's burning oil or making noise, fix the real issue. Don't just dump in thicker oil and hope for the best. Myth 2. 0W-20 is too thin for hot weather. Wrong. The 20 rating is measured at operating temperature around 212 degrees Fahrenheit. As long as you're using quality synthetic, it won't thin out or lose protection in the heat. Myth 3. You should switch to thicker oil after 100,000 miles. Only if there's an actual problem. If your Honda's running strong with no oil consumption, there's zero reason to change viscosity. Myth 4. All synthetics are the same. Not even close. Brand matters. Stick with trusted names like Mobil 1, Castrol Edge, Pennzoil Platinum, or genuine Honda synthetic when you might need a different viscosity. Let's be fair. There are a few situations where stepping away from 0W-20 makes sense. Situation 1. Extreme heat and heavy towing. If you're towing a trailer in Arizona during summer, your oil temps can spike. In that case, 5W-30 might offer extra cushion under sustained load. Situation 2. Turbocharged or modified engine. If you've tuned your Civic side or swapped in a K24, You're running higher boost and more heat. Talk to your tuner about the right viscosity. Situation 3. High mileage engines with worn bearing. If your engine's got 250,000 miles and extra bearing clearance, stepping up to 5W-30 can help maintain oil pressure, but that's temporary. Situation 4. Track use. If you're lapping your Honda at the track, sustained high RPMs can thin out oil faster. In that case, motorsport-grade oil might be worth it. But here's the key. These are edge cases. For normal street driving, 0W-20 is more than enough. How to choose the right oil for your Honda. So how do you know for sure what your Honda needs? Easy. Check your owner's manual. Seriously, flip to the maintenance section. Honda spells it out clearly. Use 0W-20 for most modern models. Some older Hondas call for 5W-20 or 5W-30. Follow what's listed. And here's a pro tip. Check the oil cap under your hood. A lot of Hondas have the recommended viscosity stamped right there. Now, what about brand? Stick with full synthetic, always. Conventional oils break down faster, especially under heat. Good brands we trust: Mobil 1, Castrol Edge, Pennzoil Platinum, Valvoline Advanced, and genuine Honda synthetic oil. All of them meet or exceed Honda's specs. Pick whichever's on sale. And one more thing, change your oil on time. Even the best oil won't help if you're running it for 15,000 miles. Stick to 5,000-mile intervals or every 6 months, whichever comes first. What we learned from this test. After 10,000 miles and 3 engine teardowns, here's what we know for sure. 0W-20 is the best choice for nearly every Honda on the road today. It protects better, flows faster, saves fuel, and keeps your engine cleaner. It's what Honda engineered the car around, and there's no reason to deviate unless you've got a very specific use case. 5W-30 works, but it's unnecessary for most drivers. You'll lose fuel economy and cold start protection without gaining much in return. Save it for extreme conditions or high-mileage engines with real issues. 5W-40, stay away. It's too thick for modern Honda engines and will cause more problems than it solves. We saw measurable wear in just 10,000 miles. The bottom line, don't overthink it. Use what your manual says. Change it on time. Stick with quality synthetic. And your Honda will reward you with smooth, reliable performance for hundreds of thousands of miles. If you found these tips helpful, be sure to watch this next video as we're sharing insider tips to help you cut repair costs and keep your car running like new.